Hey sewing friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm here to share everything that I made in the month of June. It is very hard to believe that we are halfway through 2026. So I thought it would be fun to share what I made. So I've got 3 garments and then 3 other little like crafty bits and bobs that I've been up to. And then because it is July, that is kind of a great halfway point to kind of look in, check in a little bit with my Make 9 and my other creativity goals for the year just to see where I'm at. So I will put chapters down below. So if you are only here for the sewing, you can just stay tuned for that. That's what we'll get into first. But yeah, I'll put it in the chapters so you can kind of skip around for what is fun and interesting to you. And with that, let's get into it. So these first 2 are straight out of my summer plans that I've been working on the last couple of weeks and have a couple more weeks to try to squeeze in as much as I can before my trip for the summer. So first off, I have the Devon skirt by Just Patterns, and it's in an Atelier Brunette cotton shirting. I was really hopeful when I made this, but I wasn't expecting to love it as much as I do. It is definitely a piece that is kind of stretching me out of my comfort zone a little bit, but in a really good way. Yeah, it feels really good. It's been really fun to style, really fun to wear. I'm not used to wearing things with this much volume. I have really been enjoying it, really playing around with this kind of newer to me silhouette. And I think I'm really glad that this kind of skirt is trending right now, because I think if I had made something like this, I would have struggled to see it outside of kind of like vintage wear or like a bit kind of trad wifey. Yeah, a bit more like 50s styling, which can be really, really cute. I'm not knocking that at all, but I think I would have had a hard time imagining it outside of those things into something that works for my wardrobe. So I'm really glad that this is trending and that I've been able to see lots of different styling options, because I've been having a lot of fun integrating it into my own wardrobe in ways that I probably wouldn't have thought of, you know, even like 3 months ago. So this one has been really, really fun to wear around. Making it was a bit of a struggle, and it's 100% on me. I think it is a really good pattern. Just Patterns does aim more at intermediate sewists, so she definitely assumes that you know how to do these box pleats. Yeah, the instructions for that section are just do the box pleats. So it's not a like super thorough set of instructions, but I think that that is fine. Again, if it's assuming that you are an intermediate sewist, if the pattern is, the construction methods are pretty easy, it just doesn't, I don't think it's an easy or like beginner pattern because those things aren't explained. But again, if it's aiming at intermediate sewists, I think that that is fine. So I really like the pocket construction. That was nice. The pleats, super simple. I made things harder on myself by getting really in my head about the stripe placement and choosing to cut this project like out at midnight, and then being really mad at myself why I couldn't manage to get the pattern matching correct. And then yeah, realizing that like, oh, it's after midnight. I haven't had water in like 3 hours. I haven't eaten anything. I probably have to pee. Like, I didn't make that easier for myself. And while I am definitely a night owl, I think I should probably implement the general rule, like no cutting patterns after 10 p.m. Like, I guess if it's a solid fabric, like that might be fine. But if I'm trying to pattern match, like I shouldn't do that to myself. I knew that I wanted this like contrast stripe at the bottom, or kind of this like hemband situation. But being that it was late and I was like, I don't know, sleep drunk, I guess, I didn't cut it. I forgot to cut it on the fold. So I had less than half of what I actually needed. So I had to piece things together a whole bunch. I did manage to pattern match like where I needed to piece stuff together, but there's like a lot of extra seams. Yeah, this where I had to like just shove a piece in there. Same with the waistband is very, very much like pieced together. You can't quite see it so much on the elastic, but yeah, it was definitely a whole process. I also put in a little lining piece, so that I just cut to the width of what it was with the pleats in. So it was like that's, yeah, shortened pleated amount, but not with the elastic in. And so then the elastic just scrunches everything up. I will say with the lining, even though it is like just an acetate, which should in theory be like cooling, the amount of volume with this skirt plus the lining, it is quite warm. So I think this is probably not something I'll be wearing very much moving forward into the summer. It was really great on those kind of like crisper mornings or chillier evenings, but now that we're like kind of full into summer, I think it is a bit too warm for that with the cotton, but I do still really, really like it, even though it was more of an adventure to sew than I was bargaining for. So next up was my entry for So Fruity, which happened last month, and I thought it was a little bit funny that I ended up using the same pattern for So Fruity that I did last year. So last year I also did a Helen's Closet Lockhart dress, but in my defense, I had bought this fabric with the intent of making it for So Fruity, but I was gonna make a blouse, and then it ended up being much more structured than I thought it was going to be. So I was like, oh, well, that will be perfect for one of my favorite patterns that I know takes structured fabrics really well. So I picked the Lockhart again, and I'm so delighted with how this turned out. I think that it is very, very cute. It is like very adorable, I think, and very darling with the scale of the fabric, with the colors and the strawberry motif. But then I think having something a bit more structured, and I think the square neckline makes it a little bit more modern, a little bit more flirty. So I think it is really, really cute. I do have some reservations about the quality of the fabric, and it wasn't like a cheap fabric either. But I actually thought my sewing machine was broken. I had the hardest time getting through this cotton sateen. I was getting like threadness and tension issues. It was bizarre. And I like had a really hard time figuring out what was going on. Eventually I switched to a thicker needle and a thinner thread. So part of it, the navy is not like the best color match, but it was like working better in my machine, even though they're both Metler, just like the regular all-purpose thread. Sometimes some colors are like thinner or thicker than others. And I had to use a jeans needle on this cotton sateen. So I was like really not expecting, I expect to struggle sometimes with like a viscose or like a sweater knit, those kinds of things that are more known to be tricky, but like a cotton was not on my radar for being difficult. So I really struggled with the sewing process. It's princess seams, so there's a lot of seams. And then even where I did finally like dial in the tension, get everything okay, I still am seeing like where any tension on these seams, the print is like starting to kind of pull apart. It's not quite like getting a run or like a stripe in it yet, but like I think that is, it looks like that's what's going to happen with actual like wash and wear. So I'm trying not to be like preemptively disappointed, because maybe not, but that is like, I'm seeing the signs. And again, not a cheap fabric, so I'm a little disappointed. You would think that a like structured, sturdy cotton would be like durable, but yeah, the print, it is a like definitely like a one-sided print like this, so you get a lot of the white showing through on the places where there's tension. which is the whole bodice because I put in an elastic band back here rather than having just the princess panels with a zip. This is my favorite little hack for the Lockhart dress, or really for any like kind of scooped back princess themed dress. It just gives like a lot more flexibility. I don't have to deal with like a zip like touching me. I really don't like the feeling of like zipper teeth on my skin, especially in the summer, especially when it's warm out. So I really love this hack, but in this specific case, I don't know that it's going to work very well with this fabric because it does put tension on the entire bodice, and I feel like the print is just maybe going to come apart at these places where the seams get even a little bit of tension. So we shall see. We shall see. For now, I think it is really, really cute, and it's not going to stop me from wearing it around as much as I can. For now, of course, I will try my best to take good care of it, but that doesn't mean I'm just gonna like save it forever in my closet and not wear it because I think that it might fall apart. So lastly, I have this Helmi blouse that I made at the beginning of June. And I did already talk about this in a video, I think a couple weeks ago, where I determined like, it's not my favorite thing. Just a combination of little things that I don't love, a bunch of those. So I kind of thought if I went all in with the bows and the collar and the ruffle, since it was in a dark color, it might be like a really fun, like gender subversive version of cutesy. But it just kind of turned out to be like regular cutesy and too cutesy for me. I do think that someone else could probably really rock this. So I tried it out. I tried wearing it around for a couple of days, managed to get it absolutely covered in cat hair, which is a reason that I typically have a rule that I don't buy dark colored cotton fabrics. But this one it just got me. And I was at the fabric market and it was like $8 a meter, and I don't know. I got overridden because it was so cute. And I kind of threw my general like rules and guidelines out the window, and I really should have stuck to my guns is what I learned here. And I will remember that next time because I feel like the color doesn't super suit me. Plus it is a cat hair magnet. And yeah, just generally like, I think I really liked it when I was making it before I put the sleeves on. So then I was like, well, maybe I could take the sleeves off, make it like a little tank top. But I'm like, do I ever really want to wear a tank top the same day that I want to wear like a big full collar? And that I'm not sure about. So I think what really needs to happen is I need to like wash it, defluff it, and then like maybe list it on Vinted or give it a new home, because I think it is really, really cute for someone that's not me. So in addition to garment sewing, I was working on some other kind of crafty fabric fiber projects through the month of June, and I managed to finish 3 of them. One of them I had been working on, I think, since March and was finally finished. So that felt really, really great. And then a couple just like smaller projects. I only have the one here with me today, but I will still talk about the other ones that I just like will pop in some pictures of. So I will start with this one. This was the one that I started months ago, and this is the library stack cross stitch from Junebug and Darlin. And when I picked this pattern, I was like, oh, I just want something like kind of easy and mindless, and books are just rectangle shapes, so that will be really easy. No, it was not easy. They are not just rectangle shapes. They look like rectangle shapes once the back stitching is put in to form like the straight lines. But really for the entire like cross stitching process, they're just different numbers of lines and they have no like real shape to them. I had to count every single row. I'm definitely one that likes to get a good start and then just kind of use like the basis as kind of a reference point where I like add or subtract lines based on that. And this took so much focus. I had to count every single row multiple times, unpicked most rows more than once. I think this pink book, I think I redid that like, I think 4 or 5 times. Yeah, it was not the easy project I thought it was going to be. It sat in timeout for quite a while. And yeah, ultimately took me over 3 months to finish when they're really just like straight rows. But yeah, I do really like how it turned out. I think the back stitching really, like adding those lines in there, really, really makes it. I think it's really fun, and I'm really excited to have this up in my office. I need to get a frame for it. I had one that I decided I like have it all folded up because it was in a frame for a little bit, but I decided I didn't like that. And I think I want to either get like an oval shaped hoop for it to hang in my office, or just like a more dynamic kind of frame, because I do think it deserves something really special. The other cross stitch project that I started and finished in June, I don't have with me today because I've already given it to the person that it was a present for. So I made the little Seagull. It's a little mini cross stitch project from Clara. So she's having a little boy coming up in the fall, and it was very funny. I had finished it and it was sitting on my desk when my kiddo had a friend over. So they're both 8-year-old girls, and her little friend saw it and she goes, "Oh, is someone having a boy? Is there a baby coming?" And my kid was like, "Yes, it's a present. How did you know?" And her friend, with like all the sass and confidence, was like, "Well, obviously it's blue and it's a stork. That means baby. Duh." And my kid and I looked at each other and she goes, "Well, you were right about the baby, but this is a seagull, not a stork." And it was so fun. She was like, "Oh, well," and like walked away. Like, sass 100, accuracy not so much, but she did get it right. Like, that is what it was for. So I had to share that because I thought it was so funny, but it turned out really, really cute. This one was really, really fun to stitch. I really liked having kind of, yeah, something a bit smaller after the whole book project. Something really small, contained, with only a couple of colors. I think I did it in, I don't know, like the course of, I think I watched like 2 movies. So I just saved it for the evenings or the weekends, and yeah, it was finished really fast. So that was really fun, a very satisfying project. And yeah, it's gonna go in my friend's baby room, where their theme is like hot air balloons and seagulls. So that's gonna fit in really, really nicely, even though it's not a stork. My last little crafty project for June was this little keychain that I made. I'll put in a picture because I don't have it with me because I made it for my kiddo and then immediately put it on her backpack. She's at school right now, so I don't have it to share with you. But yeah, so there's a community group here in my little town that is just getting started for 20 and 30-year-olds to hang out, meet up, and do a little craft together. So last time we did the painted tote bags, which I shared about in May. That was super fun. And then this one, they invited me to kind of play test this idea of making a felt keychain. Initially, it was going to be an initial, like they were going to do letter templates for everybody that was coming. And what we found out was that simple shapes are much better for this application because the craft night is only a couple hours long. I chose to do the letter E, which I didn't consider has a lot of surface area to close up with a buttonhole stitch. So we definitely learned that simple shapes are better. And so I think that's what they're going to go with for the actual craft night when that happens. One gal made a little heart, and she had time to like add sequins and really cute like decorative stitches to it, and then was able to like stuff it, close it up with a buttonhole stitch, and be done within the 2 hours. Mine took me more like 5.5, 6 hours. So while we were there together on the hottest day of the year so far, we were yeah, all kind of like sweating, but then like trying to attach tiny beads and do these like very fine motor skills while we're just all like sweating. So that was definitely an experience, but I've really loved getting to know them. And I talked last time a bit about how sewing has introduced me to lots of friends around the Netherlands, but we're definitely very spread out. So I'm really grateful to be, now I'm trying to kind of invest in like my local community and get to know some folks like closer around me. So that has been very exciting, and I'm really, I have friends, is a little bit how I feel about it, but it feels good. And yeah, meeting folks in your 30s when everyone is busy with career advancement and family, it can be tricky. So I'm really grateful for this little initiative. And yeah, I got a little cute keychain out of it, or rather I gave it to my daughter, but very, very cute with the little beads and sequins. And it was a very fun project to do, but definitely not one to do in 2 hours. So it was really good that they decided to kind of test that out before their craft night. And I was really grateful to get to participate in that. So that is everything that I've made in June. And given that it is now July, I thought the halfway point of the year would be a good time to kind of check in on my Make 9 and other creativity goals that I set for myself back in January. So with the addition of this blouse, that brings me to 4 to check off for my Make 9. And even though I don't love this blouse necessarily, I am still going to use it to check that off. So back in the winter, I had upcycled a dress into a sleep top and repaired a pair of pajama bottoms I had made like several years ago. So I counted those as my kind of in that tier of the like loungewear, yeah, sleep top, sleep bottom. Have yet to make a sweater, but that's obviously not something I want to prioritize. While it is blazing hot outside, I'm not really motivated to make a sweatshirt right now, but I do have a good fabric in my stash for that. And then kind of in the just like general garments section, I had a blouse, so I'll check that off. A tank dress, which, yeah, I had made a tank dress back in May. Again, one that I didn't really love. It's the style and the print was not quite for me. Still count it, but now I can officially put in this Lockhart dress as my entry for a tank dress for the summer and for my Make 9. And then the last thing in that kind of little section was a chambray shirt. And yeah, again, I just like have not been prioritizing that as we go into summer. I also don't have a fabric for it just yet. I could, of course, order one online. I was hoping to find one at the fabric market back in the beginning of June, but didn't see anything there. Yeah, so I do need to order that and probably prioritize that for the winter. I was also thinking that that would be very cute layered like under the sweater I want to make. So that could be a really cute outfit for like fall winter time. But fall winter, I also want to get on my other goals, which were more like silly / event related. So the first one is a Halloween costume where my kid decided that we're all dressing up based on the costume cats from Kariki Press. So she has assigned me the cat dressed as a clown for my costume. So I need some kind of like clown where I have some ideas, but again, I just haven't gotten around to actually making any of them. I think I am going to kind of go in the direction of like pieces that will be wearable in my wardrobe kind of separately, and then combining them together will be a bit clownish. So I have some ideas for fabrics and patterns for that. The second one was like make a fancy dress, and that is going to be great because in October I happen to have a wedding and frocktails on the same day. So ideally, I'd be able to make just one piece that I can wear for both events, but I'm not sure how that's gonna go because they're very far away from each other. So I'm gonna be doing a lot of traveling anyway, so I'll probably want to change. Plus, one is like a ceremony in a very old school church. I think is gonna be really beautiful. So that's kind of a different vibe than like party time frocktails. So I'm not quite sure. One pattern that has come out recently that I'm really into, I think for maybe like the church ceremony wedding, is the Bora dress from Chalk and Notch. That came out last month, and I think the lines of that are so, so pretty. I really like the long version. So that's one I'm considering, but I don't think I'd want to wear the long version for frocktails when last year anyway, it was quite warm with everybody dancing, and yeah, I think I want something like more short and flirty and probably not appropriate for a church wedding. So that's the thing I'm thinking about. If I find something that works for both, I want to go for that, but at this point I don't really have that idea just yet. And then my last thing for Make 9 was to replace my beloved red vintage, very dramatic circle skirt that I botched last year. I have not yet found a fabric that like encompasses everything that I want it to. So I'm still gonna be on the hunt. I'm really excited to go to the States next month, or this month rather, and do some fabric shopping there to wanna see what's around there. So maybe I'll find something. And if not, that is one that I'm okay with kind of just keeping like on my vision board, that when I find the right fabric, I know I'm going to commit to it and make up that skirt again. But for now, yeah, I just have to keep my eyes out. So that is everything for me today. I hope you enjoyed this little like making roundup of what I was up to in June, as well as kind of like just a little touch point, a little check-in on goals for 2026 as we enter in the second half of the year, which is so crazy to think about. But I would love to hear from you what you've been up to, either if you want to say this month, or what you've been up to, yeah, in the first half of 2026, what you're looking forward to going into July and further on. Let me know. You can hit me up either down below in the comments, the YouTube community. I'm also on Threadloop and Seamwork and social. So I want to be in all the sewing places with all of the sewing people because y'all are the best. And yeah, I love this community. So let me know what you are up to, what you're looking forward to, and we'll talk soon. See you next time, guys. Happy making. Bye.